Did you know that there is something much more painful than a fight or discussion? That's when the person you love simply stopped caring about you. This silent indifference hurts more than any word lasts. If you are feeling that someone special in your life is distant, cold, or simply no more interest, this video has been made especially for you. Many people spend years suffering in silence, hoping that the situation will change alone. But the truth is that when we don't know how to deal with this silent rejection, we ended up hurting each other even more. We are trapped in a cycle of hope and disappointment that consumes us inside. Today, I will share with you 5 powerful strategies to deal with the indifference of those you love. These strategies are not just theories, they are tested methods that will help you protect yourself emotionally and recover your inner peace. If you do not learn to protect yourself in this form of rejection, you can spend years losing your self-esteem and your happiness. But if you stay with me until the end, you will find out how to turn this pain into strength and wisdom. Strategy 1. Accept reality without blaming itself. The first and most important strategy is to accept that the other's indifference is not your fault. When someone we love becomes cold and distant, our first reaction is always to question us. We thought, what did I do wrong? Why am I not more interesting? Am I not enough? These thoughts are normal, but they can destroy us if we do not know how to deal with them. The problem that this acceptance solves is mental self-destruction. When we are blaming ourselves, we created an emotional wound that bleeds every day. We begin to doubt ourselves, our ability to be loved, and our value as a person. This affects not only the current relationship, but our self-esteem as a whole. To apply this strategy to practice, you need to do a mental exercise every day. When you feel that pain of indifference, stop and say to yourself, this person chose to move away, and this is a decision of her, not a reflection of my value. Imagine a person who has always been affectionate with the family, but suddenly began to treat everyone coldly. This does not mean that the family has lost value. It means that something has changed within that person. The direct benefits of this action are immense. First, you stop torture mentally. Second, it preserves its self-esteem and dignity. Third, it creates mental space to think of real solutions rather than getting stuck in destructive thoughts. When you accept that indifference is a choice of another, you recover your personal power and can decide how to react healthily. Strategy 2. Establish clear emotional limits. The second strategy is to learn how to create barriers that protect your heart. Many people confuse love with total availability. They think to love means always being there, always waiting, always trying. But when someone is indifferent to us, this availability becomes a trap that constantly hurts us. This strategy solves the problem of emotional dependence. When we have no limits, we are at the mercy of the moods and attitudes of the other. If the person is well with us, we look good. If it is cold, we suffer. This emotional Russian mountain is devastating and takes away all the inner stability we need to be happy. In practice, setting limits means creating clear rules about what you will accept and what you won't. For example, if the person only talks to you when you need something, you may decide not always be available. If it is loving one day and cold on the other, you can choose not to react to these mood variations. Imagine someone who always ran after unanswered messages, but decided to stop sending 3 messages to each one he received. The benefits of this attitude are transformative. You develop emotional independence. That is, your happiness no longer depends on the other's mood. Gain self-respect because it is not allowed to be treated with neglect. And curiously, the indifferent person often begins to value your presence more when you realize that you are no longer desperate for attention. Healthy limits protect your heart and your dignity. Strategy 3. invest in your own happiness. The third strategy is to redirect all the energy you spend thinking about the other's indifference to build your own happiness. When someone we love becomes cold, we have a natural tendency to focus even more on that person, as if looking more intensely could change the situation. But this fixation only increases our suffering. The problem that this strategy solves is the stagnation of personal life. When we get obsessed with someone's indifference, we stop growing, seek new experiences, to take care of ourselves. Our whole life revolves around this person and this problem. Over time, we become diminished versions of ourselves, and this is exactly the opposite of what we need to be attractive and accomplished. To put this into practice, start making a list of everything you would like to do, learn or experiment, but put aside being focused on this relationship. It can be a new hobby, a course, exercise, find friends, read books I always wanted to read. Imagine a person who always wanted to learn to play guitar, but never had time because I was always worried about the problems of the relationship. Now she decides to invest this time in herself. The benefits of this change are extraordinary. First, you rediscover who you are beyond this relationship. Second, it develops new confidence and self-esteem through personal achievements. Third, it becomes a more interesting and fulfilled person. And something very important, when you are genuinely happy and accomplished, this is reflected in your energy and presence, and can even arouse the interest of those who have become indifferent. Now, before we continue with the next strategies, I would like to place a special request. If this content is being useful for you, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any new video. And tell me in the comments where you are watching. I love to know which place you are following our videos. Your participation is very important to me. Strategy 4. Practice direct communication without expectations. The fourth strategy is to have a clear and direct conversation about what you are feeling, but without creating expectations about the answer. Often, indifference can be the result of misunderstandings, personal problems of the other, or simply lack of conscience about how your attitudes are affecting you. A honest conversation can clarify the situation. This strategy solves the problem of torturous uncertainty. When someone is indifferent, our mind creates 1,000 theories about the reasons. We are imagining scenarios, trying to guess what one thinks, creating stories that may not even be true. This uncertainty is a kind of mental torture that consumes us energy and inner peace. In practice, choose a calm time to talk. Say something like, "I've noticed that you're farther lately and it makes me confused. I would like to understand if there is something happening or if I did something that bothered you." The important thing is to speak without accusing, without dramatizing, just exposing your feelings and asking for clarification. Imagine someone who for months wondered why the adult son was cold until he decided to ask directly and found that he was going on problems at work. The benefits of this approach are valuable. First, you leave the position of passive victim and take an active attitude. Second, it gets real information instead of living on assumptions. Third, it demonstrates emotional maturity and courage. Even if the conversation does not change the situation, you will have clarity on where you are stopped and you can make fact-based decisions, not fantasies. Strategy 5. Prepare yourself for all possibilities. The fifth and last strategy is to prepare mentally for any outcome of the situation. This means accepting that there is a possibility that indifference will be permanent, that the person has definitely changed, or that the relationship does not be as before. This preparation is not pessimism, it is emotional wisdom. The problem that this strategy solves is the prolonged suffering caused by false hopes. When we cling to a specific result, we are trapped in a cycle of hope and disappointment that can last years. Every little sign of interest makes us believe that everything will return to normal, and every new demonstration of indifference destroys us again. To apply this in practice, take time to reflect on your life without this person being the way you would like it. Imagine yourself happy and fulfilled even if the situation does not change. Think about how you can build a full life regardless of this relationship. For example, a person who always dreamed of traveling but has never been because he expected his partner to be interested, he can decide to make the trip alone or with friends. The benefits of this mental preparation are liberators. First, you stop living due to the other's attitudes. Second, it develops an inner force that does not depend on external circumstances. Third, it becomes emotionally independent and resilient. And paradoxically, when you are genuinely prepared to live without something, it can arouse the other person's renewed interest, who realizes that you are no longer desperate for your attention. Dealing with the indifference of those we love is one of the most painful experiences we can face. But as you have seen today, there are intelligent and healthy ways to protect yourself emotionally while still maintaining your ability to love. Remember, accept reality without blaming yourself, establishing clear limits, investing in your own happiness, communicating directly, and preparing for any outcome. These strategies are not just about dealing with indifference, they are about becoming a stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you dominate these skills, it not only survives the silent rejection, but it grows through it. You find that your happiness does not depend on anyone's approval or attention, and this is one of the greatest achievements someone can have. Life is very precious to be wasted suffering by other people's indifference. You deserve to be loved, respected, and valued. If someone cannot see their value, it says more about this person than about you. Do not allow someone's coldness to steal your joy of living. Now I want to know about you. Which of these strategies makes the most sense to your current situation? Have you been through something similar, and how did you deal with it? Share your experience in the comments, as your story can help other people who are going through the same situation.